vegetables. You can really use whatever you like. Today I'll be using cucumbers and onions. You could use carrots, radish. Really, the possibilities are endless. So, how do you start? By washing your hands. 20 seconds, soap and water. Really important. You might notice I also have my hair tied back and I'm wearing a clean apron. It's also important when cooking at home to remember to always have an adult help you when you're using knives. So let's get started. I'm going to start with my cucumber and I'm going to make sure to wash them so that they are clean. And then I'm going to do a technique that's called tip and tail. So we'll see, I already did it on this one. I'm going to take off curling my knuckles, really important with knife skills to help keep your knuckles safe and your hands safe. So I'm going to curl my knuckles, hold the cucumber, and just cut off a little bit of each side. Again, that's called tip and tail. I'm going to put those pieces that we're not going to use, not too much, in our compost. Then, from here, you can really cut a cucumber a number of ways. Again, curling my fingers, gently holding the knife by pinching the back of the blade, fingers wrapped around. You could do chips, trying to keep your cuts consistent. So each piece trying to be about the same size. Another option would be to maybe cut the cucumber in half lengthwise. So I would do what's called the straddle, put my thumb and my pointer finger over, and then put the knife underneath and gently press through. So you could do a half pickle chip. And another option that is commonly used, and when I get close to the knife, I'm just going to put my hand away, would be to do a pickle spear. So again, I could cut the cucumber lengthwise, maybe cut each of those in half. So now I have 4 pieces, and then do little spears. They could have been longer. But again, the possibilities are really endless how you cut, just trying to keep your cuts consistent. And then with the onion, I really like pickled onions for things like chilaquiles or on salads. And very carefully, I'm going to make a cut into the onion, curling my fingers. And then from there, I just can press my hand on top. You see that I've cut from the root to the top. And then I'm going to press down. I don't want my hand too close to the tip because it could slip and cut myself. So I'm going to be toward the middle. And I'm going to press through. This is called the French technique, which I really love to use. So I've cut it in two halves now. I'm going to cut off a little bit of the top, not the root, but the other side. And then I'm going to peel off. I'm going to keep my knife out of the way so I stay safe. I'm going to peel off any part of the onion that has kind of a paper skin. The onion, we eat the bulb when we eat an onion like this, which is, a lot of people think it's the root that we're eating, but in botany, plant science, we're actually eating what's called a modified stem. So from here, I'm going to, like this, if you're going to dice this onion, you could cut it along the natural lines of the onion, but I'm just going to make slices. So I'm going to curl my fingers and just try to keep my cuts consistent and go through. I really don't like to waste when I'm cooking, so once I get to this point where it's a little dangerous for me to continue to hold the onion, what I can do is I can flip it onto the flat side. You usually want to keep whatever you're cutting flat, and then I can continue cutting from there. And then again, once it gets too close, maybe turn it again and cut a few more times. So I'm just left with a tiny little piece of onion that will go in the compost. A lot of the chemical that makes this cry is actually in the root, towards the root right there. So there's different ways. Some people say if you put a piece of bread in your mouth, it helps from crying, but this onion didn't make me cry. So I love garlic too. So I have some garlic there. You didn't see on the recipe, but it's something I'm adding. So so I've taken the garlic out of the head, and I'm gonna break the papery skin off of the clove. So I'm gonna take the palm of my hand, or near the heel of the hand, and I'm gonna press again and just break that open, and the paper skin easily comes off. You could gently cut off anything that doesn't look appetizing or is kind of dry. And then you can either choose to cut the garlic up in small pieces, or since it's already kind of broken, you can just put it in your pickle jar just like that. So at this point, I'm going to take a jar. I have a half-pint size mason jar that I'm going to use. You could also instead, if you have an old pickle jar, you could use that, or olive jar, or even a Tupperware. So I'm going to open my clean jar, take off the lid, and I'm going to start by packing it with my cucumbers, my onion, some of the garlic. You can really take your time with this and make it really pretty. I'm just gonna put it in there for time's sake. And once you have it, so you want to try to pack things so that they're not going to move around that much, because you don't want the cucumber or the onion to be bobbing out of the vinegar on the top. So you want to try to keep everything submerged under vinegar brine. So after I do that, I'm going to take a half a cup of vinegar. So I'm going to open my vinegar up, find my half cup measuring cup, and then gently, actually I'm going to do this to the side. So I have a Pyrex here. I'm going to put my vinegar inside along with my tablespoon of sugar. You could use less if you like. And 2 teaspoons, a little bit smaller, of my salt. You could heat this up, but also instead we're just trying to dissolve the sugar and the salt, so you can just use a whisk and stir it until it's dissolved. I'm going to try to clean as I go so that I'm not making a big mess. So once the salt, the sugar, and the vinegar is dissolved, the salt and the sugar is dissolved in the vinegar, you can just go ahead and pour it over. That was actually just the right amount. And also don't forget to add, if you want to add peppercorns or red chili flakes, whatever you want to add. It's possibilities are endless. And then you want to put the lid on tight. You can give it a good shake, and then this would go in the fridge. It takes a little while to for the brine to go into the vegetables, so it's best after 2 or 3 days in the refrigerator, and it will last up to about a week. And again, you can eat it plain or add it to chilaquiles, to salad. Possibilities are endless. Thank you.
How long do I leave it in the fridge?
You can leave it in the fridge for up to 7 days.
So leave it in for 7 days.
After 2 days, you can try it. You can try it right now even, but it won't really taste, the vegetables won't taste much like a pickle yet. So it takes a couple of days for them to get that pickle flavor. And then, yeah, so
after a couple of days I can try it,
yeah.
And then after 7 days it's totally ready.
After 7 days is best, try to use it up within 7 days.
Oh, so eat it before 7 days.
Yeah, eat it within 7 days. And you want to keep it in the fridge. So thank you for joining us, and I hope to see you again soon for a cooking lesson with Brie.